Hello, everyone, and welcome to the latest edition of the R&B Show. My name is Bruce Klum. Thank you so much for taking the time to join me today. So for today's video, I thought I'd jump in on a topic that's definitely been doing the rounds, especially among Beatle fans, and that's speculation about the upcoming reissue for the year. You know, every year we get something around holiday season, a new Beatles reissue. I know a lot of us were expecting the Rubber Soul box set, much like last year's Revolver set that came out. But it sounds like instead what we're getting is a 50th anniversary reissue, remixed version of the Red and Blue albums from 1973. Now, for me, being a second generation Beatles fan, these albums were seminal for many among my generation as far as being portals into the Beatles catalog. You know, they came at a time when I think first generation fans were clamoring for some kind of new product to, satiate that need. And, it was like the perfect platform to also introduce new fans to it, which they definitely did because these albums are certainly beloved among children of the 70s. We have very close emotional attachments to these albums. So what it sounds like we're going to be getting are expanded editions of these albums, 3-disc editions as opposed to the 2. And we're going to be getting additional tracks on these Red and Blue albums. In addition, we're also supposed to be getting remixed versions of the newer Anthology tracks, Free as a Bird, Real Love, and then the one that was never completed, which was Now and Then. These albums were reissued in different configurations not that long ago. I know they were done in CD and then again in vinyl, I think around 2014. So for me personally, I'm not that excited about it. I think it's a lot of rehashed stuff as opposed to some of the stuff that Beatle fans, I think, really have been clamoring for, which I'll get to in a second. But one more point that I did want to make about this new version of the Red and Blue albums is my feeling is that similar to the Let It Be Naked project, where it seemed to be about settling some scores, in that case with Phil Spector, I think in this case, it's a little bit of score settling with Alan Klein and Paul, in a way, having more of a hand in the legacy of these, because initially in 73, when, there was a lot of bad blood, litigation and issues with Alan Klein, Paul didn't want to have anything to do with it. So I think it's, again, a little bit of score settling, but I will say, the original versions of these albums is probably the best thing that Alan Klein ever did for the Beatles legacy. Probably that and the Hey Jude album as well. I think those compilations were very tastefully put together. Song selections were solid. And, you can't argue with the packaging, which has become so iconic. I think it added to the legacy rather than hindered. But anyway, all that said, I would like to kind of throw in my 2 cents and talk about some of the things that I think Beatle fans would have wanted and said, and things that I'm hearing that, we have been asking for. Obviously, first on that list, because of the Revolver box set, we all wanted the Rubber Soul one this year. I think we will get it in time, but what's going to be interesting is with next year being the 60th anniversary of all things from 1964, are they going to backtrack and start with those albums and, we get, Rubber Soul a few years down the line? Or are they going to go back with Rubber Soul? Are they going to do something entirely different because they have so many things to choose from as far as anniversary material for next year, including another bit of material that I think fans have been clamoring for. It's the 30th anniversary of the Anthology, if you can believe that. And I know that that's another thing that fans have been asking for is Blu-rays of the film. Personally, for me, I can, I'm fine with the DVDs until the technology gets, I think, a little bit better to clean up some of that old Beatles footage. I think we're almost there, but I can hold off on that for sure. But what I would personally like to see are reissues of the 3 vinyl albums, the Anthology albums, because they've become very rare and very expensive to get. I also think that those would have been the best platforms for the remix versions of Free as a Bird, Real Love, and this new track, Now and Then, which is already creating all kinds of controversy. So I guess we'll have to wait and see on that as far as hearing it and seeing what we all think of the end result. But finally, also, I think another project that Beatles fans have been clamoring for and would like to see is Shea Stadium. And now with all this demixing technology, I think it'd be interesting to get, a proper recording of that. But I think even more than that, I would be excited to get a really nicely restored version of the film of that concert that we've seen around, and I think was also screened with the 8 Days a Week documentary for Ron Howard. Would love to see that come out on Blu-ray proper, and kind of all the bells and whistles. So we'll see on that. Those are things that I would prefer to see, and I know that I've heard more from Beatle fans. I don't think I've heard any Beatle fans clamoring and asking about, hey, can we get some remix versions of the Red and Blue albums? But we'll see. I think with the Beatles, you put something out there for the holiday season, it's going to sell. But personally, for me, I'm not as excited for that as I am for some of the things that I have mentioned here. But I do also want to thank, friends Michael Noland and Royce in the House for, the coverage that they've been giving to this stuff as well, because it's definitely generated a lot of interesting discussion. And if you're not familiar with their channels, Royce in the House does an excellent live stream every Sunday. Check them out. I'm often a guest on there, along with Michael Noland of The Bottom Line, a long-term buddy who does phenomenal work as well. So shout out to both of you guys. Anyway, that's really all I have to share for today. But anyway, for those of you who liked the video, or even if you didn't like the video, please hit the like, subscribe, top bell notification, and we'll see all of you again very, very soon, okay? Take good care. Peace.